It's time once again for another thrilling episode of Markout Radio. For the next hour, sit back, pull the stick out of your ass, and enjoy. Be warned though, smarks and internet know-it-alls will be offended, annoyed, and generally pissed off at what's about to happen to your ear holes. You've been warned. Now, Markout Radio.
All right, welcome you animals. Another episode of Market Radio with the boy Dark Fox. Episode 67 for December 23rd, 1996, out of the Macon? Yeah, whatever. Coliseum in Macon, Georgia. Sorry if you're from there and I'm slaughtering the name of your town. It's not personal, it's just the name of your town. It's hard to pronounce. Listen, mine is too. It's Deadpool's hometown. Enjoy that. All right, this is the 28th week in a row for Nitro to win the ratings war that is a war, with a 3.1 to Raw's worst rating of 96 and a 1.5. Damn. Now, I feel like I have to address this because there's been a couple of emails that came in, mlrmarkout@gmail.com. I got some heat over the last couple of weeks, so I feel like it's time to address it. Eric claims that it was in 83 weeks in a row that Nitro was on top, and that's been messed around a little bit since he's been shown that it wasn't true. And some people have claimed that it's just 83 weeks in general, which is not true either. But there's audio from his own podcast and a book that shows that he claimed it was 83 weeks in a row. So yes, I am doing a incredibly childish gimmick, and I'm doing it every week. And no, it's not going to stop. We'll count there together, but in the end, it actually works out in Eric Bischoff's favor. Now, I don't like the guy, but it's only fair to acknowledge that he had a huge influence on this industry that we love and hate. 83 weeks isn't even Eric. He just read it in a news article somewhere and ran with it because, of course, Eric is Eric. That lesson, by the way, has never sunk in. Even with Conrad holding his hand, Eric is still fucking Eric. So some of you remember getting back to this week of Nitro that we have been in this Coliseum before. Back on November 20th, 1995, or episode 14 of this show. Producer boy, Jim, is that one's on YouTube, right? It is. Oh, they all are. Good producer boy. You deserve a cookie. For now, just go ahead and give yourself a Windows ta-da, shall you? All right, thanks.
0.0.
Very nice. Now, back on November 20th, they sold out this location with 6,000 people in attendance. Unfortunately, only 1,500 of them actually paid to be there on that day. However, now, on December 23rd, 1996, which is a little more than a year later, WCW pulls a record gate of $63,214, according to our buddies over there at OSW Review, doing some good footwork and digging into those fucking numbers for us. Thank you, Jay Hunter and V1 and the boys. Even though they only had 4,900 people there, most of them seem to have paid this time. Exactly. Now, I love Bischoff bashing, but at this point, you kind of have to admit that he's getting things done. To be fair, I mean that he's in charge of a company making money and drawing a larger audience. Once he starts to lose money, it's going to be everyone else's fault. But you know, being in charge is fun, right? Right. First match of the night is an actual wrestling match, so kudos for Kevin Sullivan getting that one on the air. Eddie Guerrero defeats Chris Benoit in a United States heavyweight title tournament semi-final match. 11 minutes, 25 seconds. I gave that one 4.5 out of 5. No kidding. It was really, really good. However, there were some problems. First of all, Benoit comes out to Arn Anderson's music, which then restarts as Eddie comes out before Benoit even makes it to the ring, while Arn's music is still playing. Then eventually the production truck pulls their collective heads out of their asses and cues up Eddie's entrance music. So that's awesome. Now, watching the physicality of this match, you'd think that this was still a time when Eddie and Chris didn't get along. But actually, this was a point where the two had begun to work out together and hang out with each other's families. Eddie still wasn't thrilled about how Chris and Nancy got together, but according to Vicky, he was willing to overlook that because everyone got along so well. Unfortunately, here we go again. Another picture-in-picture promo from Kevin Sullivan appears in this match, and he is going to cut A promo. Jesus. He's going to cut Benoit's head off, which, you know, is awesome.
All right.
I feel like even in the 90s, this probably wouldn't have been awesome. Yeah, I know, right? Jesus Christ. Now this week, we've got some fucking images. So here's one of Eddie beating down Chris. And what do we got next? Another one of Chris beating down Eddie. Those are always favorites. What's that? Oh, and another one where Chris is Eddie's in the DDP rest pose. Speaking of DDP, he shows up. Oh, that was subtle. Don't make that face at me, Jim. That was fucking glorious. That's right. It was. No, turn it down. No, see it. I'm not posing because that's going to get me even more trouble with WWE. Anyways, DDP comes down. Thank you for just turning it down. Jesus. DDP comes down to join the announce team to scout the match while his back is turned on the ring. Jesus. All right. Benoit shouts something at Eddie at this point about, do you know who you're messing with? And then screams at Eddie, Kevin Sullivan, and then something unintelligible. I'm not quite sure if he forgot who he was wrestling or if he was trying to work the angle and yelling at Eddie instead of the camera. It was just fucking weird. Now, after some announcer misogyny left Tony speechless, the go-home sequence here was pure fucking gold. First, Benoit goes on to pin Eddie close to the ropes and puts his arm on the middle rope. Randy Anderson, the referee, doesn't count the pin and admonishes Benoit for trying to cheat. Maybe, maybe not. Benoit puts Eddie up on the top corner and looks to be doing a belly-to-back suplex, but then Randy Anderson climbs up on the second rope to count him out of the corner. Benoit shoves him off. Eddie's back elbows Benoit and then performs a beautiful frog splash while twisting in midair. Not to be outdone, Randy Anderson Superman dives over the guys and counts the 3. Post-match, Eddie cuts a promo on DDP, who responds with 2 words, Diamond Cutter, bang. So actually 3 words, but you know, it still worked. Now, I feel like this next bit might get me into trouble because if you're joining us on Twitch or if you're watching this replay on the YouTubes, you are going to see that I have swapped out the image for an image of Deborah McMichael dressed as Mrs. Claus goes to a fucking beauty pageant. Jesus. I hate this whole, I really do. All right. The misogyny is what's going to get me in trouble here, in case you're wondering. Gene has a rant promo with the Horsemen and Deborah. Gene starts with Arn, pointing out that the beating that he got from Sullivan last week should have maybe been for Benoit. Then Arn passive-aggressively points out that a focused Benoit wouldn't have just lost to Eddie, even though Arn got manhandled by both men in the past 4 weeks. He can't always be gold. Arn goes on a blue-collar rant with his actual promo, pointing out that what Benoit is doing is every man's worst nightmare. Now, that was a pretty solid promo from Arn, but then Deborah gets a hold of the fucking stick, and Flair, I wish I had a picture of it, but I don't. Flair has the look in his eyes of, if he'd been giving me that look, I probably would have shut the fuck up. And a smarter person probably would have shut up faster. But we're talking about Deborah McMichael here, so feel free to make me wish I had rags stuffed in my ears, Deborah, and go ahead and cut your fucking promo. Jesus. It's blah, blah, catty bullshit, cunty nonsense, yada, yada. And then thankfully, Benoit gets a hold of the microphone. He makes very little sense about he and Nancy's trip to Germany. It's something about meetings and pulling the Horsemen back together. I'm not sure how that works when you're on another continent, but yeah, whatever. Then he goes to address Deborah. Now, here's the thing. If you run your mouth for weeks and weeks insulting another member's lady, you have to know at some point you're going to hear a reply. Unfortunately, when Mongo gets between them, Benoit tells him to talk to the hand. Oh, Jesus.
You will respect my authority.
No, awful. Talk to the hand because the man ain't listening or some shit. Like, yeah, it was really, really, really bad, even for the fucking 90s. Now, that being said, Deborah's voice is nails on a chalkboard, but that face, that fucking face and the stance she makes after Mongo gets in the middle, how she sort of leans back and grins. I don't have an image of it. I apologize, but if you go and watch the fucking show, you'll see what I mean. And please don't throw anything at your televisions. I don't want to be somehow responsible for the destruction of your fucking TV. Now, that's what a bully looks like. This isn't kayfabe, by the way. I know a lot of people are like, haha, DF, this is kayfabe and Deborah is just acting. Now listen, that might be true if Deborah had a brain, but she doesn't. All those years of peroxide to get that fucking hair that color have seeped in, and whatever brain she might have been born with has shriveled up and died. To this day, she shoots on the Nancy Benoit fiasco, even though she's done the exact same thing twice since, obviously not killing her spouse, but she has fucked around on a current husband/boyfriend and then ended up with that person and then joked and rubbed it in their face on television and off. So fuck off with your false dichotomy bullshit. Like, holy shit. Now, when she bullies a guy, she knows that a man is not going to smack another woman around. I mean, that is depressingly ironic considering where this all ends up. But between these two right now, it sort of matters that she knows that he's not going to fucking slap her on fucking national television. But like all typical jock pussy sidekicks, once confronted with your fucking retarded nonsense, back up, smile while your big husband gets in the way. By the way, Benoit has legitimately slapped the shit out of Mongo before this night numerous times. So how Mongo can forget that and put his finger in his face is beyond me, because reportedly one time Mongo got in Benoit's face, put his finger in his face, Benoit took the finger, twisted it around Mongo's back and broke it. That's why Mongo for a few weeks was wearing tape on those two fingers. It wasn't an accident because Deborah's pussy broke his fucking fingers with how dry it is. It was because he stuck his fucking finger to another man's face after his wife, of course, ran her fucking mouth. And by the way, she did the same thing with Austin. She did the same thing with her current poor husband, and they're on the outs too. So awesome. Now, at this point, we're in this fucking telenovela of Sullivan's. And, you know, I gotta ask, do you think at some point that he pulled Deborah aside backstage and asked her if she could be an even bigger cow than usual for this program? I mean, I'm asking for a friend. Anyways, moving on. Benoit gets out his talk to the hand garbage. I can't get another word in as Mongo takes the stick away and cuts. Well, the same promo that all idiot husbands with gold-digging whores for wives says, to summarize, you better shut up when talking to my wife. Which, you know, what? I know. Flair gets in the middle, puts his arm around both guys, puts a bow on this promo, thank fuck. I'm not sure this is what Sullivan would want, what Flair's about to say, but when you book these programs, you have to know that a womanizing Flair is going to side of the person who's given the dicking and not whose wife is cheating on him. And Flair is quoted as saying, after 10 years, woman deserved a weekend with Benoit. Well, fuck me. Deborah nods at this. What the fuck? So up until this point, she was acting, but now she's going to break kayfabe. No, she doesn't have a functional brain inside that empty goddamn head. It's a good thing that she had a body at the time. Unfortunately, now it's mostly gone to shit. So getting guys sort of not working out so awesome for her or for Mongo for that matter. Holy shit, did he get fat? Anyways, Gene thankfully wraps us up when we go to break. We get to move on with the show and away from fucking Deborah McMichael. Hogan does an in-ring promo. Oh, Jesus Christ. We trade one cunt for another. Hogan in-ring promo with DiBiase, Vince, and Liz. You guys just don't get it. Piper is scared of Hogan. It's not even good from a purely wrestling promo standpoint. Anyways, noticing that it bombed with the crowd, he switches over to make it more about the Hollywood angle. That didn't go over either. When you cut a promo, just a pro tip here, not that I will cut all that many of them, podcast aside, when you cut a promo, you're either looking for a pop or you're looking for heat. If you get nothing out of the audience, your promo sucks. And anybody who tells you differently can't give promos either. You guys just don't get it. Hogan's the best. Now he's going to pose, and nobody cared about that either. After this, we get another match. Lex Luger defeats Tombstone in 3 minutes, 38 seconds. I gave it 1.5 out of 5. Tombstone, that's a little bit on the nose for Bischoff. Jesus Christ, what a bitch. WWE fuck you character goes over the top rope due to a clothesline right in front of the ref from Lex Luger. No disqualification. Stings with the NWO according to the fucking announce team because we didn't learn our lesson the first time. To be fair though, they still didn't know what to do with Sting's character, so they kept fucking around with this. Tony's talked about this before in his podcast, as well as in kayfabe interviews. Lex racks up the WWE fuck you character and gets the win. No, I'm not calling him by his name, Jim. It's just, he's the WWF fuck you character. His name is their fucking face's finisher. Like the face of the company's finisher. Really? You want me to? Yep. No, Bret Hart was never the fucking face of the company. He was the fucking champion. Anyways. Yes, I'm aware of how sacrilegious that is for a Canadian to say, and I'm not sorry. Giant comes out to the ring, gets beat up and racked before the Outsiders come down to save the day. This was all to build to their Starrcade match on Sunday, so it works, even if it would have been better if a bunch of refs or crew came out to separate the two of them. There's a throwback image here, throwback package, of some Sting footage, again, with concluding that Sting is now NWO for life. After that, Rey Mysterio Jr. defeats Mr. Mr. JL. 6 minutes, 2 seconds. I gave that one 3.5 out of 5. It looked like there were some football players at ringside as JL was beaking at them during the entire match. Now, I'm not sure if they were Atlanta Falcons or an arena team, but Mysterio and Lynn would perform most of their big moves right in front of them while the announce team bickered about the count cadence, the NWO, and every now and then deemed it necessary to talk about the match going on in the ring, but never mentioned the football players at ringside. Now, I don't know if this was done passive-aggressively because Ted Turner was on the outs with the NFL as well as the Falcons. They do put over the Steelers a lot, which I know is Bischoff's team. No, I'm not wearing my Pirates hat today, and that's not because I'm a fan. Anyways, yeah, that's right. I'm wearing my Blue Jays one today. That's right, Canadian. Anyways, Mysterio promo at the announce table after this. Ray doesn't believe the NWO rumors. He wants to see the footage again. Larry rolls his eyes. Tony doesn't quite buy into it. The production team can't just click a button. They literally have to find a tape to put in the machine. So while they search for it, Larry's going to cover. Now, I'm not sure if this was all ad-libbed, but the footage that they ended up playing was not the footage that Ray was asking for. Great job, Truck Monkeys. Solid fucking work. Instead, we get something that a goddamn intern put together. Jesus. Back from break, Keenan and Tenay have joined Tony at the announce position. We get to watch a bit of Hogan's shitty promo again, as the NWO has told us that Piper is in the building, but Brain isn't buying it. Match after this is Glacier defeating Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker, 1.5 out of 5. Tenay puts over Glacier's gimmick and his plastic, priceless helmet, handed down, mastered a pupil for generations, and Glacier's gone and engraved 126 in it to honor his daddy. Oh, fucking sake. Now, there's 2 sergeants in WCW at this point, and they're both jobbers. Again, though, this one was another WWF fuck you character. Pittman was a legit Marine sergeant. Buddy Lee's claim to fame was being the Dungeon of Doom's leprechaun, as well as the fake Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker, like a certain WWF character that he was ripping off in Sergeant Slaughter. Doesn't really matter since he's just here to job to Glacier, since the character isn't getting over at all. Glacier's and Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker's, by the way, in case you're wondering. Even with Bischoff's karate hard-on push, Glacier is struggling to find a place on the roster. Hey, Eric, I love karate too. There's actually a fight series you can watch online. It's pretty dope. But I know the karate gimmick died at the end of the second Karate Kid movie. Let's just gloss over entirely the Kung Fu Kid remake. Fucking hell. Totally inappropriate name for that movie. Anyways, this karate gimmicked up character is not working. If there was any doubt if the Glacier gimmick was working, the finisher, the spinning wheel kick, if it was any slower and he pointed his toe any slower at the top to connect with Buddy Lee Parker's fucking head, oh, he would have been going backwards. What a clusterfuck this fucking character ended up being. I'm so disappointed in myself that I bought in to the packaging and the promo packages and all the teasers and all that shit. And then you started watching it. I remember as a kid being like, yeah, this guy's awesome. That's my impression of my voice being even more high than it already is. But I mean, Jesus Christ, what a fucking clusterfuck. No, it was not no, turn that off. It wasn't. He doesn't deserve Bobby Roode's song. All right. I know that Glacier got marginally better at wrestling over the years, but a great gimmick and build cannot hide the flaws of an unprepared performer. I mean, even Goldberg was more prepared than this. Jesus Christ. Commercial break after this match. Followed by a match, the amazing French-Canadians Carl Ouellette and Jacques Rougeau with Colonel Robert Parker, according to Tony Schiavone. I didn't say it this week. I just love picking on him because of his shit pronunciation. It would have been Robert Parker, by the way, Tony. Anyways, they defeated the Public Enemy and Johnny Grunge and Flyboy Rocco Rock by disqualification in 3 minutes, 23 seconds. I gave this match 2.5 out of 5. Ouellette and Rougeau go into the heel gimmick well. They do their cheap heat, yelling at the crowd, and then they sing the Canadian national anthem. Tenay and Schiavone claim the Canadians are ad-libbing the anthem. That's called French there, boys. I thought Tenay was some sort of genius. I feel so betrayed.
You are a big mark.
That is disturbingly true. Parker's humping the ref doesn't lead to a disqualification, but the Public Enemy using a broken table on somebody does. This all ends in a big schmoz, and that's all done. We get a throwback to last week when Bubba joined the NWO, which was actually a good piece of footage to lead into the following match. The production team has not redeemed themselves from the two major fuck-ups earlier tonight, but at least this one made sense. Big Bubba Rogers defeats Konnan with Jimmy Hart via disqualification, 5 minutes, 36 seconds. I gave that one 4 out of 5. That's right. A Bubba and a Konnan match got a 4 out of me. Strap in, Buttercup. This was actually good. Bubba comes out loving his new NWO t-shirt. Cholo Heisenberg comes out playing up the fucking stereotype. Jesus, this was painful to watch. I know the 90s are a different time. That is not the fucking sound you play when I throw back to the 90s as though we're some great place. There you go. Anyways, Jimmy's wearing his wrestling boots, so I just assumed he was going to get into the match at some point tonight, but of course, he took a minor bump, just not a really big one. Nick Patrick plays up the heel turn ref gimmick. Everything short of wearing an NWO shirt himself. This was actually well done, as much as it pains me to say that. Jimmy Hart gets ejected from ringside for touching Nick Patrick with his mind. Konnan throws Bubba over the top rope and gets disqualified. After this, that golden voice bastard Lee Marshall calls in from the road and the location of Starrcade in his 1-800-COLLECT road trip and throws the Weasel under the bus again with some sort of sideshow that the Brain should be starting. This week, the Brain has a good comeback, so it made the bit even better. After this, Lord Steven Regal, who is the television champion, takes on Dean Malenko, who is the Cruiserweight champion. This ended in a time limit draw in a WCW World TV Championship match, 10 minutes even. I gave this one also 4 out of 5. Very solid match. So as not to bury the Cruiserweight title, this went to a time limit draw, which a lot of people hate. But when you need new match pairings, you'll find that it's a necessity. If you've got to book people in matches, this is not a match 100 people have fucking seen a million goddamn times, and now they're on television. The roster is still kind of sparse. Well, at least for TV-ready talent. Regal berates the girl he hands his robe to at ringside, and she sells it well. Now, most of these flunkies that take shit to the back at ringside suck. Like, they look up, they sort of smile like it's all a big joke. And it's probably because the wrestler's been hitting on backstage, and that's fine. But fuck me, I found this interaction refreshing. It's a kayfabe show, and everyone should be putting it over, including the ring person. And she did. She definitely gets it tonight. Exactly. Regal performs an enziguri perfectly, slapping his own leg without being able to see it because, of course, the camera was behind him. It even got a reaction out of the ref, though, who was also putting over the fucking match. Holy shit. Sonny Ono comes out to play up a Japanese stereotype. Jesus. Thank you. And to take photos and scout a televised show. Brain went off on a tangent shortly after this, mentioning something about somebody hitting someone or something and then it growing. It was fucking creepy, and Tony even mentioned it as he was going through his deal. The ref goes down to count the pin. The bell rings. Malenko teeters on the edge of breaking kayfabe by knowing what happened before the ref does. You could perhaps chalk this up to his being very good in the ring and being a very smart wrestler. But you're going to have to stretch for that one. The announcers also know what happened before the referee does. And they're, well, I mean, maybe the brain, but certainly not fucking Tony, who tells us that it's a time limit draw. Would ever fucking know that. Let the ref do his job, boys. Calm your fucking tits. All right? After this, we get Jeff Jarrett defeating Rick Steiner with Scott Steiner at ringside in 2 minutes, 24 seconds.
0.0.
That's right. Nothing. This fucking match gets nothing, and you're about to find out why. Steiner comes down to the ring playing the crazed gimmick to a fucking T. The fans chant that they want Sting. Nobody seems to care that Jeff Jarrett's in the ring. The crowd pops as Sting comes out of the entrance ramp. Then they realize that it's fake Sting, because fake Sting's got a fat face, and they give a ton of heat. NWO Sting gets Jarrett into the Scorpion Death Drop. Rick Steiner nails fake Sting with a clothesline. Jarrett then pins fake Sting and wins the match between he and Rick Steiner. What the actual flying fuck? That's the main event? What the fuck is wrong with you, Eric? That's your main event. Listen, I am not the biggest Kevin Sullivan fan, but his booking, for the most part, is decent. It certainly isn't this reality television show bullshit. Fake Sting is not in the goddamn match. Why the fuck would Jarrett even pin him? Jarrett's a smart wrestler, right? That's his gimmick? That he's smart. Am I missing something here? So why would he sit on fake Sting's chest? And why the fuck is the ref counting to 3? Holy shit. I mean, I understand the rationale behind reality television. It's not to appeal to your mind. It's to evoke an emotional response. And that's fine. And this certainly did evoke an emotional response. Vomit. Why the fuck would a match between Jeff Jarrett and Rick Steiner end in a pinfall victory of a person that's not even in the match getting pinned? Holy fuck. Back from break, we get an NWO promo because the first one was just so good. Instead of one Glory Hound, though, we get 2. Bischoff comes out dressed in a kilt to Piper's music. Thankfully, though, this didn't last very long. Piper legit came down to the ring being led out by a Scottish marching band. Unlike Hogan and Bischoff, though, he does get a reaction from the crowd. Bubba and Wall Street come down to the ring, hold Piper as Hogan waffles him. The camera goes up to the rafters to see Sting watching on with interest. When we get back to the ring from the rest of the NWO are now there, and event security has to come out to separate Hogan and the NWO from Piper, which gets a ton of heat from the crowd. Now, I'm not sure why this got the kind of heat it got. Piper was being flayed alive by Hogan and his fucking weightlifting belt. Wouldn't you cheer? Why would you boo? Piper's getting whipped and being held down by the entire fucking NWO roster. But whatever. I mean, it's a reaction. And to be perfectly honest, after Jeff Jarrett pinning fake Sting earlier, I can't imagine the crowd understands what the fuck is going on anymore in life in general. Now, the main event was trash. The match was shaping up to be fairly good. The fake Sting thing made sense. But Jarrett getting the win by pinning fake Sting was fucking stupid. The ref could have made it a no contest. They could have beat the fake Sting out of the ring and then have Jarrett roll up Steiner for a cheap pin. Really anything. It's wrestling. The fucking floodgates are open. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make Steiner look any weaker to lose to Jarrett, and doesn't make Jarrett look weak to look to Steiner. They're both of equal footing on the fucking roster right now. One just happens to be in the tag division while the other's in the singles. It ruined a perfectly good Nitro. With the clusterfuck of the fucking production truck at the beginning of the show, Nitro itself, as far as wrestling and promos, well, I mean, I guess with the exception of Hogan and fucking Derek Michael, was actually pretty good. And the promo to end the show was actually good as well. I got a great reaction from the crowd. It ended about as well as you could reasonably expect it to. Despite the main event pissing me off, despite the production problems at the top of the show, I still am going to give this show a 4 out of 5. It was one of the best Nitros of the year up until that last goddamn match. The final promo did pull the nose up a little bit, and it did build a ton of great heat for the pay-per-view. Now, speaking of the pay-per-view, I'm not going to cover it at all because it's getting covered at length with my buddies from the NWO versus WCW podcast. I'm throwing that link up in the Twitch chat room, as well as I'm going to put it in the show notes for the podcast, as well as on the YouTube channel. I gave that pay-per-view a score of 4 out of 5 as well. The guys more or less agreed. There was, I think, a 3.5 out of 5 there somewhere, or 4.5 out of 5. But mostly we all really enjoyed the pay-per-view and really enjoyed rewatching it. And of course, they're a good bunch of guys. You should listen to their shit. Next week, we're going to cover the last Nitro of 1996. That'll include the year in review, as well as some notable events and wrestlers from the year. Come join us on Twitch here, Twitch TV/Markout Radio, 2 p.m. CST, to see it live and interact with me and Jim, the producer. I noticed just now that I haven't gone through any of the images, so that was totally wasted because I'm in control of the images instead of producer boy. Let's see. Hold on. Not to leave you guys in the dust. There's Hogan giving a shitty promo. Okay. There's the WWF fuck you character, looking a little bit too much like Mean Mark Calloway. There is Luger beating up the WWF fuck you character. There is Mr. JL. There is Jerry Lynn beating the piss out of Rey Mysterio. And of course, awesome refereeing. There's Rey Mysterio not believing the NWO Sting bullshit and then throwing to a package that he didn't ask for. That's always golden. There's our boy Glacier bowing. Why he needs to support his weight with his hands, I'll never know. There is the French Canadians. There's Jacques Rougeau getting his ass kicked by Johnny Grunge. There is Big Bubba enjoying his new t-shirt. Fucking Cholo Heisenberg. Playing the gimmick, eh? I gotta play up to the stereotypes. I feel like I'm gonna get banned for fucking playing a racial stereotype on the show. All right, there's Jimmy Hart getting ejected. So I don't know where he put his finger. There, Regal and Dean Malenko, another fucking solid match. Rick Steiner with Scotty at his side. There's Hogan coming up for the last promo of the night. Bischoff rocking his god-awful. I mean, at least have the balls and take your goddamn black jeans off, would you? All right. That's it for the show this week. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in next week, Twitch TV/Markout Radio, or of course, check us out on YouTube. Just search for Markout Radio. At some point, we'll earn enough cred on YouTube to actually get a named channel. I know. It's something to look forward to for me, too.
Well, that was an abortion of a show. Should the mood take you, check out markoutradio.com and leave a comment. You can also find links there to our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Stitcher channels. You can even leave a voicemail on our Skype. Just click the links and share them.